Should be streamlined. I'd like to welcome everyone out this evening, especially those who are with us by live stream tonight to our regular council meeting of the Municipality of the District of Barrington. It's December the 9th, 2025. Welcome to the festive season. Just before we start with our moment of silence, I would like to inform everyone that today's meeting is being live streamed on the municipality's website. And so if anybody's present in the gallery, by attending this public meeting of council, you're consenting to your image and your voice and your comments being recorded. Anyone who's invited to speak will be recorded, and their voice, image, and comments will form part of our public live stream. So attendees are also advised that they may be subject to legal action if their actions result in inappropriate or unacceptable behavior or comments. That's never been a problem, but we always have to read this disclaimer at the beginning of our meeting since they have been publicly live streamed. So at this time, I'll ask us all to rise for a moment of silence. Thank you. We begin our meeting with the approval of tonight's agenda. Do we have a mover for the approval of tonight's agenda? Moved by Councillor McKinnon. Do we have a seconder? Seconded by Councillor Nickerson. Any further discussion on our approval of the agenda? Hearing none. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Contrary minded, nay. The motion is carried unanimous to approve tonight's agenda. Are there any declarations of conflict of interest tonight? Anyone declaring conflict of interest around the table?
So I mentioned it the last time. There is, committee of the whole from November. I'm just gonna check here.
I put it in the minutes for committee of the whole that you wanted to declare conflict in council.
Is that coming up? Is that coming up in
This-
recommendations?
No, that's
it
done.
isn't.
You're good, right?
Okay, yeah.
Okay.
I'll find it.
Okay, good that you checked in on that. So we have no declaration of conflict of interest. Hearing none, we'll move on to the request to approve the minutes of the regular council meeting that was held on November the 25th, 2025. Do we have a mover for the adoption of those minutes?
So moved.
Moved by Deputy Warden Bazinet. Do we have a seconder? Seconded by Councillor McKinnon. Any further discussion on those minutes? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye.
Aye.
Contrary minded, nay. The motion has carried unanimously to approve our minutes for the November 25th, 2025 meeting. This moves us into a time of presentation. We have with us tonight virtually Monsef and Glenn. They're with VNP Inspire and back to here. They are going to, actually, I was at the NSFM meeting this fall, and I actually happened across the booth that you had there and struck up a conversation and handed the information on to our CAO. And it's personal connection. So much of life and success in community and fundraising and all of that is about personal connection. So it was out of that personal connection that our CAO got in touch with these guys who have extensive experience with fundraising. They've had a proven impact nationwide, and they've been trusted partners with over 35% of the municipalities in the province of New Brunswick. They got 25-year presence or experience in Atlantic Canada, so their experience is quite extensive. And I checked in on some of your backgrounds. You're quite well connected to the communities out of which you come, with clubs like the Boys and Girls Club and things like that. So obviously you are well-grounded individuals within your own communities and within your own province. And so I know you've raised over $160 million across the region of Atlantic Canada, I think. So that's pretty impressive. And I think 100% of your campaigns have exceeded your goals for fundraising. So it's exciting to have you guys here with us tonight. And I'm just basically going to turn it over. But before I do, what I'll do is have the members around the table introduce themselves to you, and you can take a moment and introduce yourselves as well. You do know that the meeting's being live streamed on the other end of the table here, so undoubtedly our community, those who are interested in the subject, are also checking in on the presentation as well. So I'll start over here with our CAO, and we'll go around the table and do introductions, and then you guys launch into what you're here to do.
Thank you. So yes, my name is Chris Brown. I'm the CAO for the municipality.
I'm Eddie Nickerson. I represent the district on Cape Sable Island, on the eastern side of Cape Sable Island.
George Jeff, I'm the
Council for District 1, Woods Harbor, Shade Harbor, Forest Point.
I'm Amy McKinnon, Council for District 2, from the Historic District Business District down to Bear Point.
I'm Cynthia Bazinet. I'm the deputy warden, and I'm the representative for District 5, which is, I counted today, 19 villages that comprise the Northeast Kingdom.
I'm Debbie Mater, municipal clerk.
And I'm Sean Hatfield. I'm the warden for the municipality of the District of Barrington. If you guys want to take a moment and introduce yourselves and then just spring right into your presentation, welcome here. You got sound?
Thank you for having us. My name's Glenn Masada with BNP Inspire, as you said, and I'm based in Halifax, Nova Scotia. I've been with the firm for over 3 years, and I've been in philanthropy and corporate communications for 20 years, and the past 15 specifically in philanthropy. So thank you for the introduction, and I'll pass it on to Monza.
Sure. What an excellent introduction. I couldn't wish to have a better ambassador for what we do. Actually, my name is Monza Flakbas. I'm vice president for BNP here in Atlantic Canada. I've been with the firm for close to 2 years now, and I've been in philanthropy/community, I would say, for over a decade. The latest one being the Boys and Girls Club as executive director. Before that, president and CEO of the New Brunswick Multicultural Council, and just a hardcore volunteer. I love anything, everything that has to do with making sure that the community has the resources that it needs to be able to drive transformational impact. So that's why I'm here. So Glenn and I prepared a little presentation for your consideration. And please, if you have any questions, let us know. This is a team effort. What we have bring is over 25 years of experience doing these kind of projects in the community. And like it was mentioned before, we're not in it for transactions or just to raise money. We're making sure that we're part of being that little boost for effort to make sure that the communities have the infrastructure that it needs. It's good for well-being, but it's also good for economic development. What we have done in the past is similar projects like these ones, and we're wrapping up quite a few in New Brunswick as we speak, and the momentum from a community perspective is just phenomenal. And what we're hoping to achieve is to create that same momentum from a community perspective in your own in Barrington, to make sure that that spirit pride lives on for decades to come. So I'll pass it on to Glenn to share the presentation.
Yeah, I'm going to share screen, and then I'm going to go in a large format.
And Glenn, while you're doing that, I will just let the community know that what we're doing here is we're looking at a fundraising initiative for our new Barrington Recreation Center. So the whole purpose of this presentation is we have the funding to complete the facility and open the facility, but there's always with these community projects, there's a need for equipment and there's need for things that are additional. And so often what happens in communities is that a fundraising initiative takes place so that FE&E, equipment and so on can be funded, to furnish and to complete the project in terms of having the necessary equipment and things there on hand. So that's just an update for the sake of the community. Go ahead, take it away.
Thanks for filling us up so well each time, because that is the crux of it. It's not a very long presentation. It's under 20 minutes, just so you know. So it's all about building on what you've already done really, really well, by the way. So you're building on the success, strengthening the new recreation center, and building around it. In the initial conversations we had with Chris and Misty and Rylan, it was all about the bigger vision for the whole Rex complex. Now that the building is almost ready, let's unlock the community's full potential. The recreation center is nearing opening, so it was a perfect timing, we thought, because the construction is substantially complete. The staff are preparing for the launch, and programming is being discussed. Community excitement and anticipation are growing. What has not yet happened is that the residents have not been formally engaged on the financial support side of the project. Obviously, they've been very excited themselves, but we're talking tonight about the financial piece. Local businesses and community groups have not yet been approached about philanthropic or sponsorship participation. And this is not uncommon. Oftentimes when municipalities are improving or revitalizing or starting new projects, they don't think of philanthropy necessarily. The public narrative around how the community can invest financially in the center has not yet been introduced. So that's what we're talking about. So why are we here? Why we're here today is to update and align council on the campaign process, timeline, and next steps. Provide an update on campaign positioning and readiness, outline the community engagement and awareness strategy, confirm the financial focus and campaign objectives, align on timing around the center's opening, and ensure that the council and staff are aligned on public-facing messaging. So why fundraising still matters even after the construction is almost done or completed? And this is a question we get all the time. So it's basically to help the municipality reduce municipal financial burden by offsetting debt load or municipal contributions through community support. The outfitting of enhancements, equipment furnishings, programming needs, accessibility improvements. What we gathered in our conversations prior to tonight was that you have a perfectly wonderful center. It was more about leveling up and elevating the situation and making it a best-in-class facility. Build a culture of investment in recreation, critical for future phases and long-term sustainability.
If you allow me, Glenn,
Please.
the first part of the reducing the burden is what we have noticed, like it was mentioned, we have done over 35% of municipalities in New Brunswick, and this project is very similar to what we have seen before. Is what happens most of the time is municipalities, like Glenn mentioned, if they don't think of philanthropy as a game changer for the municipality. Because when we met with Misty, Chris, and Ryland, and we are to dream bigger in terms of everything that needs to be done from equipment, furniture, and everything else. We're talking about it could be a couple of millions with the cost of everything these days. That bill could be very significant easily. So what we have thought of is instead of municipalities always going to federal, municipal, provincial, or sometimes debt, borrow money, and in some cases have to offset that to citizens by not having a choice but to increase the taxes, is the community can actually offset the part that's missing in order for the billing to be complete. So you're doing two things with the fundraising campaign is you're creating buy-in from community perspective, so it becomes their project, not just municipalities. But number two, it's actually money that you're getting from the community. It could be local businesses, could be local foundations or regionals or even national ones, family foundations, like people that have done extremely well, that want to support health, active living and well-being. They want to support mental health. They want to make sure that that community is living, has the infrastructure that it needs to be able to sustain long-term health outcomes. But also from an economic development perspective, it's a good thing. It's attracting youth and younger families eventually, and eventually that would affect the tax base, but also maintaining the ones that you have so far. So by allowing philanthropy or opening the door for that for your community, you're not just getting money to sustain your projects, but you're actually building a whole movement to develop projects, could be for today or the future ones. Excellent.
So together, we know we can get this done because of our nationwide proven impact and our technology, which is guided through decent resources, the opportunity, and next steps. This is in a nutshell. You've already touched on it this evening, but we have our 25-year history. $4 billion so far in philanthropy, 1,000 mandates.
So this is for the communities that were represented, the KPIs that were actually mentioned before. We have done many of these projects, and the one aspect that I'd like for you to pay attention to is 100% of the projects that we worked on surpassed their goal. Now, it's not just us. We can't take credit for all of it, but it's a combination. It's a team effort. It's a work that is extensive work that's done with the towns that we have the honor and the pleasure to work with, but also the community. When we put a cabinet, and we're going to walk you through the process, how it works. When we ask the community to step up to be able to take this mandate on behalf of many, to drive that momentum to the community, we're actually working with cabinet members, volunteers from your community that might have the influence, and also the capital will be able to sustain some of that, be able to act as ambassador for the projects, to put some themselves and ask others to do the exact same thing. The methodology and the process works. It has worked at 100% every single time we had the honor to work with municipalities. It's just the methodology that we follow. But the key success is you, and the other key success is the few people that we're going to select as cabinet members to be able to help us take on to the next level.
The district is a snapshot of our overall footprint. We have a lot of experience in this area, community projects, GC healthcare, education, religious institutions, arts and culture. And what we've learned with ones that already touched on, but these are various projects recent projects that we've done in the Canada. Primarily here, this slide is in New Brunswick. But as you can see, it just speaks to the point that thanks to the fundraising, thanks to the volunteers in each case, the goal has been surpassed. We're starting to see.
Perfect example. The Hampton is a small town with 4,000 residents. When council hired us to do the job, they had a gap of about 4 million to be able to get what they need, the equipment, furniture for the rec center. And they never thought it would be possible for a community of 4,000 people to raise $4 million. So in their mind, they're like, if we could get to 2 or 2.5, a super stretch of 3 million, we're extremely lucky. We were there to remind them that we can get it done. So we were pushing throughout the process, and we raised $4 million in 12 months. And believe it or not, over 80% of that money came from local support. So businesses, families that did extremely well. What we do is we do an extensive research on anything that happens in that community. Who has the money, who has given the money, what they care about, because we have a research department that looks at all those angles. We provide cabinet with intel that actually would make a difference on who to talk to, and if we are talking to someone, what's the process to talk to those people and how much we ask for. All the examples that literally the Hampton project, we just wrapped it last month. Ribbon cutting, extreme huge pride in that community, and I think there are over $25,000 as we speak, over the $4 million that they raised. Haircut, when they hired us, we're still doing that. It's in progress. They had raised $2 million and they've been at it for 5 years in a goal of that they wanted to raise $4 million. When they hired us, we raised over $1 million in less than 12 months. So like I said, process is the same. We just need to bring that methodology and the excitement and the push through sometimes when people are tired and when they think that we exhausted all options. We're going to make sure that there's still one more to go until we hit that goal.
And here in Nova Scotia, the projects that we thought would be inspiring to talk about, the club started with a goal of $5 million when we came on the scene, close to, well, in this case about 2 years ago, 2.5 years ago. With the pricing of construction when going up and so on, the target kept moving in their case. It just was the timing of things, but they've raised with our guidance 7.4 so far. We're about $440,000 to their end goal, and that'll be completed, and there'll be a ribbon cutting. And it's an incredible, for the first time in 120 years, this facility is fully accessible. And in terms of environmental stewardship, it was falling into the lake. So they really did an incredible job of revitalizing the property. And over 5,000 people a year go through this facility. It's really a community hub in the HRM. This is located in Dartmouth on Lake Milk. And we're looking at the Black Cultural Center, and that brings up a point about the putting together a volunteer cabinet. This cabinet is coming together nicely. It's a national project, even though it's in Halifax, but to see this level of engagement is really encouraging, and it goes to show that even while we're in the prep phase, we're the lead gift of $4 million is being cultivated as we speak, and we haven't even completed putting the cabinets together. It's very inspiring to see the desire of folks to be engaged. And Department of Hospital, we're in our second campaign with them, as you see here. So as we discussed earlier, it's really about reducing the tax burden and getting corporations involved and again, community engagement. So region has the same opportunity in our opinion. And just in terms of what a campaign is, we look at it as 3 phases, which would be the prep phase, planning and preparation phase, the silent solicitation phase, which we call silent but not secret, means that during that period, we like to raise 60 to 70% of the actual goal before going into the solicitation phase, which would be more of the community engagement activities. Anything to add on this slide, Joseph?
Yes, so just for council to picture this, imagine the forest versus the prep. Right, before you run a marathon, you have to do a lot of prep. So that's the prep of it. What we have to do is put a steering committee together, people of influence and affluence. We have to build the narrative, the case for support. We have to, draft the policies. We have to do the recognition plan. We have to estimate the value of the building. Well, we have to divide the building into assets. And those assets are worth something. Like somebody would want to put a name on the building. Somebody would like to put a name on the surface. Somebody wants the kitchenette, or somebody else wants, you know what I mean, the changing rooms. Each one of these represent a possibility for council to be able to attract money and visibility to those people. Don't forget, what organizations are looking for is to align themselves with organizations like yours so they can show 2 things. Social corporate responsibility, for every dollar that the consumers are helping them generate, they're paying some of it back to the community, and what a beautiful opportunity to align themselves with the municipality to be able to showcase that. That's number 1. And number 2, some of them are looking for revenue generation through sponsorship. So they might sponsor that, place in exchange of $25, $50, $100, $500,000, and they want to put their logo. So everybody who walks through the building, and there are thousands of them who will go to the building every single year, that's an opportunity for business to be able to drive more revenue and more visibility. That's why it is crucial from a corporate perspective to give them that chance to be able to do those 2 things. Corporate social responsibility to tell, the people of your own town that they are part of helping drive social outcomes in the region. They'll drive it, it's good for business. And number 2, to give them the opportunity to be able to drive some kind of revenue generation through the sponsorship. And a lot of families that we have seen before, they just want to do good. When you talk to them about kids being able to skate and, dreaming bigger dreams so they can be able to make it later on to the NHL or anything else, or just, seniors being able to use the walking track on a daily basis so they can have a decent quality of living, that's very emotional, and that connects with a lot of human beings. And from what I've seen, it's not that hard to get a check from them. What happens in silent phase is once that work is done from the prep phase, we create together what we call the cabinets. Some people from the steering committee can sit on the cabinet if they want to, but usually you have people from the community wanting to be part of that. It depends on the numbers that, of people that we can have, 8, 10, whatever, as long as we can have people that represent 2 things. 1, they can make a check themselves if possible, because how would you convince somebody else to give a check if you're not giving it yourself? So to make the argument easier is they would make a donation. It's up to them, whatever means they have. And number 2, they would solicit Outerdeep to do the exact same thing. We'll do this in a very strategic way through a very solid process until, like Glenn said, we secure about 60 to 70%, and then we make the launch, the official launch, when we go back to the community on a goal of 2, 3, whatever millions that we decide to raise. To make that realistic for the community to be able to buy in and to support it for what's remaining, we have to announce a significant amount to make the rest realistic and attainable. And that's a chance for people to get involved. $20, $100, whatever it is, because what we want is not just the dollars, but we'd like to raise momentum. We'd like the community to feel that this is their project, this is their community initiative. And what we have seen from previous experiences is they see it as an honor, as a true privilege that the town is asking them to be part of that, because that building is going to be probably beyond a lot of us for the next 40, 50 years, right? And to be able to have a chance to put your name on that for many generations to see it, it's a true honor.
Thank you. Basically, what we do is everything is tailor-made. Obviously, we work with you to come up with a comprehensive personalized strategy. Solid approach, all the tools you need, as Monsef alluded to, the tips for support, the letter writing, everything you need in terms of getting the job done. Excuse me. Expertise delivering similar projects. We have that expertise, and we have a hands-on approach. So even though we're a national firm, we have a local presence wherever we work. We, as Monsef alluded to, we have research. We help execute the campaign. We're grounded in insight and research, as you said, and we're bilingual with the draw of the two, depending on the situation. And yeah. This is our methodology that Monsef, you want to just take this slide for a second?
Sure. What I've seen is, here is the thing. I mean, there is a project, there is a need. And there are probably mostly 3 decisions to make from a council perspective. Can we do it in-house? Can we hire a bunch of volunteers and ask them to do this? Or can we hire strategic advice? What I've seen is all of it. And what I'm picking up now is projects that council try to do it on their own because, but you have to balance between the day-to-day jobs, the CEO having to do what he has to do, plus adding this added responsibility on top of the million things that you have to do. From a process perspective, it's extremely tough because you're going to have to meet with donors at 7 p.m. or you have to meet with them at 7 a.m. You have to draft letters, you have to do follow-ups, you have to do research, you have to do scenarios, there is a lot of work involved, countless hours that you have to prep for before you get that gift, and you have to do a lot of follow-ups. What other mayors can tell you from their experience is they would do the meeting, they would get the commitments, and they will never see the money. The problem is they never did the follow-up because they don't have time or they were delayed, and they don't know which one they have met with and which one committed. And is it a sponsorship? Is it a gift? And it becomes a little bit messy and daunting. And even if you hire volunteers, you give them this responsibility to do, they have to do the admin, plus they have to do the value added time, which is asking for the gift itself. So which becomes sometimes very daunting. What we do is we take care of everything. What we ask from you or cabinet to do, the value added time for you is to sit and have a conversation with a major donor. That's about it. And we train for that, train you, we prep you, we even build scenarios on how to say, what to say, when to say it, what to start with and what to end the conversation with, and the kind of email follow-ups we draft, make sure that everything is done according to plan to make sure that we're enhancing our chances to get that gift and get it ASAP. So from a process perspective, is from you're only showing up to add value in terms of your network, people that you think might add value to the project in terms of their connections, and eventually making the ask, and we take care of the entire process from A to Z.
Thank you. Any questions just on the methodology while we're here?
Any questions about the process or the methodology? Or no questions as of yet. You guys are doing a bang up job, apparently.
Thank you. Thank you. This is that's more stuff messing earlier, we have research, there's communications and translation. And interestingly, we're the first B Corp certified philanthropy consulting firm, which was really a passion of our founder who really wanted to make this happen so that we really were walking in it.
Do you have a little issue with the camera?
Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
Oh,
It's still good.
I
It's
missed
fine.
that. Can you see this slide with our?
We
That's
can't
flat.
see you.
Oh, we can't see you. That's true.
Yeah.
Well, no, it's Chris's laptop that's gone.
Yeah, the camera was just blurry and then gone.
We can still hear you and see you, so it's good.
Okay. Okay.
This is our. I just referenced the founder, Christian Baudry, and then the Atlantic team. We're all. This is our team here, so we.
Yeah, so Christian has been actually in the business for over 26 years. He has raised just himself a couple of billions. Merkel Point has been in the industry for such a long time, and to his assets, I would say he raised close to $50 million. Floyd is in Halifax. He knows the region. He's now helping. He's managing probably one of the top 10 foundations in the country, the River Phillip Foundation. That's like his. That's another part-time gig while he's trying to retire. He has been the Dalhousie University Momentum, raising over $250 million for the university, and Glenn has been passionately involved. I would say it feels like close to 5 years now because of all the work. Has a communication background that's extremely handy when it comes to the public face because most of it is driven by communications, special releases, social media management, and all that fun stuff. Vaughn has been with us for a couple months now, and she has a master's degree in PR and communication. So when you combine the expertise and the years of doing this kind of work of the 6 people, you get tremendous value for your organization.
Yes, so good job. Go ahead.
So what we're recommending, it's we can't see you, so it's hard to see if you're there or not. But if you hear us, so forget. Okay, great. So from the little exercise that we have done, and this is just a forecast. We met with the team, which is Chris, and then what we have tried to build is the list of needs, things that you guys need from equipment, furniture, and then a little bit of infrastructure for the coming months and also years. So if we have to do it right, let's do it right at the beginning, so we don't have to go back to the community and ask for money in the short term. On that bill, based on the information that we have seen, could be at the least, I would say, of $2.5 million. So that's what we're recommending. With a stretch of $3 million. So that's what we're eventually looking at. It's up to council to decide what the amount could look like. We serve at the pleasure of council for given the opportunity to be able to be part of this project. But this is just recommendations that we're putting out there. Glenn, do you want to move to the next slide? So how we do it, we have to pick a theme. The theme is something that would speak to people's hearts first and then eventually minds after. Just recommendations that this is what we're putting there. This is our place. The reason why we picked this theme is because we have heard is that Barrington doesn't have a history of major campaigns in the past. Most infrastructure that has been put in place is something that the town has come up with. And there hasn't been much involvement from a community perspective when it comes to supporting projects financially. So we want them to feel that this is their project, this is their community, this is their infrastructure, and it is for them, by them, for them. It could be for their own kids that are using the facility on a daily basis for sports, or it could be for seniors that are using the walking track or else. Now there is a field trip as well. Sorry, the field house. So major gifts first, then community gifts, which is smaller gifts, and then eventually an opportunity to be able to assess or evaluate what the building's worth is, and then present that to the public as naming and recognition policies. Sorry. That's about it. So campaign launch, then just a soft launch, not the public launch, just a soft launch, just to make sure that people are aware. The business outreach first, which is trying to go get those big donations first. I know that people are quick to go to the low hanging fruits. Let's get the smaller donations because they're easier to get. And then we'll focus on the big ones. Our process is extremely different. We focus on the big ones first. That's the hard job. And then it's easier to get the smaller ones after. There is a saying that says, eat the frog first. So that's what it is. Let's go get that 500,000 or a million or 250 first. And if we do so, we have momentum, then we can announce the 60% goal quicker. If we are starting with the smaller ones, it's going to take forever to be able to get to 60% of the campaign. So what we present is an opportunity to be part of this project that's going to transform and change lives for the next 50 years or so. There is a donor recognition on like a wall. There's an opportunity to put your name on the building, the surface, rooms, etc. We build a public outreach strategy that's completely done in-house. We do the whole marketing campaign, we do the communication campaign. Like we take care of the whole thing. And then we build a story around it. We pick a theme, we drive it. We try to drive partnerships from the community, sports organization, or else as ambassadors of projects. And we get, hopefully what we're aiming for is by the time that, we do the ribbon cutting thing, that you have 100% of the money. And in a spirit of, we did it together. Back to you, Glenn.
The review, and just the review, which we've said a couple of times, which should be the financial responsibility, which should be the our relationships with community partners, which is the engagement piece in the community, etc. on the overall complex. Engagement sets the tone for future projects. It gives people, it provides, shows that it's doable, and then you can begin to bring to legacy project that reflects the different leadership.
Just a small consideration for council is we're making decisions based on what we have in front of us today, but it doesn't necessarily mean that there won't be major projects in the future for parents and youth. Doing this kind of campaign now is also accessing something that you never had before, which is the community's pride, number one, but number two, money. And then after this, what we leave you with is a donor base. So we have a donor base that one will give to the campaign. Number two might actually be part of the ongoing infrastructure operational money on a yearly basis through sponsorships and else. Number three, well, there might be a pool or whatever it is in the future. Well, that's a low-hanging fruit because you already have a base to talk to for future projects. So doing this is a response to the immediate needs, the ongoing one, which is operationally speaking the sponsorship money, but also it might support future projects through the low-hanging fruit of having access to a donor database. Well, that's about it for us.
Thank you very much for your presentation. What I'll do is open it up for any questions from members. And if there are none, then we can take this under advisement and direct staff. I know we've made already a decision to fundraise for this project. So council's already initiated a decision earlier, fundraise for this purpose. It's just a matter of working through the parameters of what we set as a target and how to launch this partnership, if that's what council wishes to do. Did you have anything you wanted to add, Mr. Bond? Okay. Any questions from members regarding the presentation? Councillor McKenna. Yeah, okay. Councillor McKenna wants to know what the fee is. You don't do this. Philanthropy is good, but you also have you have to pay your bills. So yeah.
Well, we're the most cost-effective organization to work with because for every dollar that you would pay us, you would at least get 10 back. That's for sure. Number two, we don't charge a percentage fee because we don't want to capitalize on effort, meaning that it's a flat fee that we charge at the beginning. And if you raise more money than the original goal, the rest is all yours. So for us, it's the same effort. As I had told the CAO, you would expect, in general, this is not just us, but you would expect about 10%, a maximum of 15% of fees, not just our fees, but total fees relative to the campaign when it comes to the goal, the money that you would like to raise.
Okay, so 10% is your answer, 15%?
At between 10 and 15, that would cover consulting fees, but also anything related to producing some kind of design or whatever it is for the campaign, that is not related to our own fees.
Okay.
Yeah, overall marketing expenses like
Absolutely.
advertising as well.
Yes, advertising, especially during the public phase, what we have seen organizations do is buy like radio ads or things like that, so they can be able to reach more audiences and raise more money. So those fees are considered in the 10 to 15%.
Councillor McKinnon, any further questions, follow-up? Anyone else, any questions for our presenters tonight?
I'd like to mention that these are also amortized over the period of engagement. So assuming that we charge the 10 to 15, whatever it is percent, or it's a flat fee, you paid over the 16 months or the 18 months of the total engagement.
Okay, okay. So that makes it more incrementally cost affordable for
Yes, exactly.
Okay.
Yes. And
Okay.
sometimes what we have seen municipalities do is amortize that amount over 2 fiscal years.
Okay. Okay. No questions from our group, which indicates that you must have covered all the bases in your presentation. So thank you for coming in from New Brunswick and from Halifax, and we appreciate what you're offering to do for our municipality in terms of enhancing our new rec center and recreational facilities. Thank you.
Thank you for having us. It's a real pleasure to be here, and it'll be the honor and a privilege to be able to contribute in any way we can to drive momentum from a fundraising perspective to your community and be there to witness the prides of that feeling that we did it together from a community perspective and the municipality as well. So thank you for the opportunity to be here today.
No, thanks. So we don't. Okay, take care. Merry Christmas.
Thank you.
Have a good day.
Do we have any decisions that we need to make with respect to our presentation tonight, Mr. Broughton, or are we moving on to the next item on the agenda?
No, so tonight was a lot of, primarily for information. The strategy would be to move forward, along these lines. Now, the goal, what the goal that they've described is based on a wish list. Of course, when you start doing this, you got to start somewhere. So, there might be things that you wouldn't think that we would aim for, but let's say a generator for the building, that is a comfort center. It does not have a generator. So not only is long-term power outages an issue for just general operations, if we were to have power outage in the middle of winter,
Right.
that is on the wish list, for example. That's part of that list of things we could potentially fundraise for. So
Okay.
it's a little bit, I think the scope is a little bit broader than you might have thought or when we talked about back in September.
Right.
But I think if we are to engage someone that has the experience and the capabilities of reaching those amounts of money, it would benefit us now and in the long term. So it was a lot for information. If you did want to kind of discuss it in more detail, we could add it to an agenda in January, or take your comments or feedback by email or in conversation.
Okay.
It's really up to you, I guess.
So in terms of like what did he call it? The group that would come together, the cabinet, I guess is what he called it, the cabinet. So like if there's people around the room, people viewing, at home, like we all have contacts in the community of people who might fall into those categories of, of givers.
Mhm.
And is that how does the information get gathered in terms of, is that part of the cabinet would do, is identify members in the community or businesses in the community that they would contact?
That's correct. So the steering committee would kind of start the ball rolling on all, like you mentioned, the policies and the campaign documents and start creating that list. And then the cabinet would be created, which would actually go out and solicit sponsors and gifts. So there's two different groups, but some members from the steering committee can be on the cabinet as well. But that work would start around this, along the same timeline.
Yeah. And so the one final question then, it's like, have we decided, like as a council, then that we're going forward with this entity to do the fundraising? That's like, I know we made a decision to initiate a fundraising campaign. I think it was to the tune of $250,000. And with the presentation tonight, I know it's been suggested that, you know, if you aim for the ceiling, you might get off the floor, but if you aim for the sky, you might hit the ceiling, you know, when it comes to fundraising. So have we made that definitive decision, like, or we've directed staff to move in that
So
direction?
the way the motion was crafted was that you wanted myself to kind of
Yeah.
determine how to go about the fundraising campaign. This is an option. This is an option that I feel is, it's
Yeah.
more than what we're used to, but I think it's doable. So I would recommend that we move forward with them. Now, if you had something completely different in mind, then now would be the time to mention that. And we can find other options, or there's always the possibility of doing it in-house, but then the scale and the scope changes drastically, I guess.
And I think if I can just finish my final question before I turn it over to Deputy Warden, is that I think if you have somebody who has had the varied and the different tiers of experience that these people do, it kind of it helps, because they're going to bring together the key stakeholders, the key people, the pivotal people in community that's going to make these connections and so on, to be able to access the resources to be able to hit the target. So. Deputy Warden Bazinet.
Yeah, yes, thank you. I concur. I think this is really a great way to go. And the entire time they were speaking, not to get too far ahead of ourselves, but I'm thinking medical clinic down the line, if our experience with this is positive, that this is exactly what these folks do. And partnerships of this sort can really pay off in ways that some small communities or municipalities can't possibly pull this sort of thing off on their own. So I support the notion wholeheartedly. And I'm hopeful that we're successful and that we can utilize their expertise when we need money to build a clinic.
Okay. Thank you for your comments. Are there any objections? Mr. Broughton, has inferred from this presentation that, that we're sort of moving forward, and that's his recommendation. Is there any objections to that around the table? I think it's important that our staff have clear, mandate on it so that there's no guesswork. Hearing no objections to that, then I guess we've accepted the presentation and we're prepared to move forward in that vein.
Yeah, there'll be more, further opportunities to guide the process, like you
Sure.
mentioned, whether it's through the steering committee or the cabinet, or when the campaign actually gets, developed on paper. External factors can change the way that you approach it too. So along the way, that in the next couple of months, there'll be more information, provided to you.
Very good. Councilor Nickerson.
So if my math is correct, that's somewhere between $250,000 and $300,000
In terms of the
that we got to pay
fees.
those guys.
Yes, that would be 10-15%. Now, again, that's not all to them. It's everything included, but that's the general range that you're looking at with fundraising.
So that's to be worked into next year's budget.
So it's over time, and it's based on funds raised. So if it's like you said, every dollar that they would charge, let's say you get $10. So it's based on the fundraising campaign goal and how much is raised. So that can get adjusted based on what we think is reasonable.
But we're going to have to budget for that, right?
Yes, it would have to get budgeted in terms of like consulting fees, but it would not come from, it would come from the funds generated through the the fundraising campaign. Like if our goal is 3 million, it might, what we'll get is 2.7 million. What we'll use is 2.7 million. So that we don't have to use municipal tax dollars to offset the cost of the fees needed for the sponsorship. Because if we don't pay them and we don't get 3 million, then we don't get 2.7 million, right?
That wasn't my understanding.
No, you have to pay them the fees, but that will get us to the goal of generating hopefully $2 million, whatever that is. So we would have to pay that sort of upfront, but then the money you generate from the fundraising campaign will pay for that, offset it, right?
So I guess
Without paying the fees and without doing the fundraising campaign, you don't have the additional funds.
they have a flat rate,
Yes,
right? No percentage. That's what he said, correct?
yes. Which is
So
typically 10
so
to
if we
15.
choose to say, all right, we want you to raise 2.5 million, we got a bill of 250,000
Yes.
minimal
let's say, yeah,
on our hands.
easy numbers.
We're gonna pay that whether they rate, no matter what they raise.
Correct.
If they raise 4 million or 1.5 million.
Correct.
So, because he said they don't rate, they don't do the percentage thing. So if we're gonna do that, we got a budget for that.
Yes.
Is it gonna be budget for that over several years, or is it gonna be, we're gonna budget for that in the 2026, 27?
I mean, like you mentioned, you can do it over multiple years, depending how long the campaign goes for. But I mean, we could also do it all the next year too.
But that's what I'm asking,
Yeah.
when are we gonna budget for that?
Well, ideally, I mean, if it's just gonna last 12 months, it would be all within next fiscal year. Yeah,
No, I'm good.
that makes sense.
I understand.
It's not gonna happen. We're not gonna raise that substantial amount of money, in my opinion. I'm just one person around the table. We're not gonna raise that. We don't have the capacity, you know, with staff resources and even community resources to be looking at, you know, raising that kind of, you know, my opinion. No, then
That's
you would-
$384 per resident,
Per resident, but
every resident.
yeah, keep in mind that the target of sponsors is not only local.
I understand
Yeah.
that, right? I would hope that somebody would come in and throw in $50 or something, right?
Well, I will say this, you know, not disclosing any identities, but I've had people since I've sat in the seat as warden approach with the offer to offer substantial amounts of money to certain projects within the municipality. I wouldn't disclose names, but I'm saying there are resources. I like their
Sure, I'm
strategy.
not,
No, and I'm not,
getting that at all,
yeah,
right?
I'm not saying this to you. I'm just making my own separate statement as a point of. So if these people, you know, have the strategy of contacting people who do have, you know, the economic, you know, fortitude and desire to practice philanthropy, which is a lot of stuff. When we look around the Tri-Counties, there's a lot of stuff in the Tri-Counties that is there as a result of philanthropy. You know, the Isaac Walton Killam, whatever's got Isaac Walton Killam on it, it's basically philanthropy stuff. And we have people in the community who have done well, and I've talked to some of them who actually want to do well by community as well, to give back. So nothing ventured, nothing gained.
That's right. But again, as they mentioned, this is it's a community initiative. So if you
Yeah.
feel that this isn't you know, it's either too far off of what you wanted, or it's maybe too much to take in, or the fees are too much, then that's up to you. That's kind of point of all, you know, providing you the information and see what direction you want to go in. But I do think it's achievable, and I do think that there is a good opportunity there, not only for this project, but as Deputy Warden mentioned, other projects in the future.
We've done that in the motion too, like in our motion, like in terms of the breakdown of, you know, people donating, you know, and, you know, doing sponsorship for certain rooms,
Yeah.
furnishing certain rooms, like,
Yep.
you know, that's been part of our breakdown as well.
Yep.
Other comments about this matter before we move on? Okay, we'll move on then to, I guess it's the, report of the warden. Any other comments? Am I detecting any hesitation
Nope,
in phone
Nothing
forward?
for me,
Okay,
I'm good,
okay,
I just wanted to know,
okay.
yeah.
Okay, don't want to cut off any conversation that may be ensuing. Just in terms of my own report, on the 26th of November, I attended, along with the Deputy Warden and Councillor Nickerson and our CAO, the Clean Foundation Workshop and Education Session here in the administrative room. And on the 28th of November, I attended the 50th anniversary, along with our CAO, of the celebration, the 50th anniversary celebration of Bayside Home. Bayside Home's been in operation for 50 years, and on behalf of council, you folks, I did a presentation there, a certificate of recognition and achievement to the Administrator Paula Hetfield on behalf of our entire council. Jack Fry also shared some information about the history of Bayside Home prior to the expansion, which was informative as well. And as they say, they used to write in the local column of the paper, a good time was had by all. And it was good. On the 4th of December, I attended Christmas in the Historic District. Kudos to the organizers of what I dub our hallmark, Christmas moment in Barrington, in the historic district. It's kind of neat to see the old meeting house lit up with vendors and all the other people who set up at the old meeting house, artisans and crafters. Kudos to our CAO, Mr. Frotton, who set up our station for municipal employees and any councillors that wish to attend to distribute donuts and coffee and to connect with the community in that setting. Also, special thanks to our rec director, Misty James, who was there, building inspector Dave Andrews, Councillor McKinnon and Deputy Warden Bazinet were there as well. The weather wasn't optimal. It was a bit, the wind had teeth, it had a bit of a bite to it, but people still braved the weather and did a lot of shopping, and there was a lot of community spirit that unfolded in that location at the Kayak Brook. We can always expect a buzz of activity there in the spring when people are dipping Gaspereau, as they've done for many generations. But now around Christmas time, there's a different kind of gathering that happens there as well. Everybody's headed upstream for Christmas shopping, so it's a good thing. I also attended our regular committee of the whole meeting along with the rest of you for this month, and those are my final comments. I do want to wish those who are viewing at home a very, very great holiday and Merry Christmas to each and every person within our community and beyond. We hope you have a really good time at Christmas with family and friends. And what I'll do now is I'll turn it over to our councillors to offer their monthly report. And why don't I start? Councillor Nickerson has the resolutions coming out of committee of the whole. So how about we start with Deputy Warden Bazinet and go around the room that way?
Thank you. On November 26th, I attended a data presentation by Atlantic Infrastructure Management specific to the municipality of Barrington. It centered on the roles and responsibilities of elected officials in identifying and managing, to the extent that we can, risks associated with climate change. It is clear that the municipality has some significant challenges associated with coastal flooding in the future. The meeting was attended by CAO Frotton and Dwayne Hunt and representative from the Clean Foundation as well. It was a very informative meeting. On November 27th, I, along with most of my colleagues, attended a presentation on public engagement strategies by the Clean Foundation, as mentioned by Warden Hatfield. On November 28th, I virtually attended the R6 Intermunicipal Committee meeting along with CAO Frotton, during which budgetary matters were settled and more discussion on waste disposal challenges had, which seems to be an ongoing and never-ending conversation. On December 1, I attended the Community Navigator Oversight Committee meeting at which we discussed the pending merger of this committee with the Medical Recruitment and Retention Committee. A formal discussion of this merger is occurring, I believe it's Wednesday of this week at 4:30. So the two committees will come together and talk about how to get this talking part done. On December 4th, I delivered meals to elder residents in my district as a part of the Shelburne County Senior Services Holiday Meals Program. That was my first time doing that, and that was really nice to get out and meet folks who were tremendously grateful for the meals and a chat. Also on December 4th, as Warden Hatfield mentioned, Councillor McKinnon and I bundled up and joined CAO Frotton and other municipal staff at a hot chocolate and snack station at the gazebo as part of the Christmas in the Historic District event. Weather was not cooperative, but it was nice to see people out and about, and it was nice. And lastly, I attended the Committee of the Whole meeting this month as well. And that is all.
Thank you, Deputy Warden. Councillor McKinnon.
On November 27th, I attended the Western Regional Libraries HR Governance Committee meeting, which was a very lengthy policy procedure manual overhaul. So that was fun. And on December 4th, I attended the Historic District. On December 5th, I delivered meals, which was, I got a lot of tours that day, which was great. And the Committee of the Whole meeting. So, I mean, it's been a short month, unlike you guys fill your time. I have a lot going on.
No, not at all. No.
No.
Councillor Jekyll.
Chair, it's a short month, I would say, and I did attend the committee of the whole meeting, and I spent most of the time, as everybody knows, in my business was busy months for me. And I'll have the opportunity to wish everybody in our municipality Merry Christmas and Happy New Year, and all the best in 2026. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Jekyll. Councillor Nickerson, if you want to do your report and then go into the report from the committee of the whole, that would be wonderful.
So on the, as the board and deputy warden alluded to, I too attended the Clean Foundation meeting. I find that stuff interesting. It's something that it's informative too, to see it coming from another perspective of the two young ladies that presented some of the information. It was certainly educational to me. So, and I think we got another one coming up, don't we?
In a month or so, a couple months
So I
maybe.
do look forward to it. Unfortunately, I didn't get to, I wanted to attend the historic district, but Christmas celebration there, it is lobster season, and we have our challenges this year, and things came up at work that didn't allow me to get at that. I did attend the committee of the whole, and
Great.
there was something, I just keep doing that. It's normal for me. Yeah, there was something else I was gonna report on, but I forgot. That being said, as council, no, okay, yeah, I'll move on to the report for the committee of whole from December 2nd. I gotta get closer. December 2nd.
You want these? Bit easier.
Was that, no, I just gotta enlarge it on my screen here, that's all. So committee of the whole, council meeting December 2nd, 2025. Upgrades to the causeway sidewalk extension and pathway across the causeway. It's recommended council to direct CAO to request that the province complete any needed repairs or maintenance to the Cape Sable Island Causeway pathway, and that staff only proceed with pursuing a new letter of authority if the province is unable or unwilling to undertake this work. And I so move, Mr. Chairman.
Moved by Councillor Nickerson. Do we have a seconder for the motion?
Second.
Seconded by Deputy Warden Bazinet. Would anybody like to speak to the motion?
Question.
Just for way of information for those who may be viewing, what we're talking about in this motion is the the eastern side of Cape Sable Island Causeway. There's the pathway across there, and as most residents know, it's become quite uneven. And if you're going with a stroller, or it's difficult to navigate at the best of times, or to walk two abreast. So what we're after here is an attempt to, it is provincial government property. So what we're after here is access, either to get them to upgrade that walkway across the causeway, or if that fails, then to get a letter of authority so that we can actually upgrade that much used walking pathway across the causeway. So just so you know at home. Any further discussion on the motion? Question being called. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Contrary minded, nay. The motion has been carried unanimously. Go ahead, Councillor Nickerson.
Woods Harbor Ball Field acquisition request. It is recommended council to approve the acquisition of the Woods Harbor Ball Field from the Woods Harbor Ball Field Society, subject to the execution of a formal purchase and sale agreement and confirmation of operational and capital gains.
Do we have a mover for this motion? Moved by Councillor Jekyll. Do we have a seconder? Seconded by Councillor Nickerson. I think in terms of the motion, this motion, I think we made it clear to our CAO that in the pursuit and the purchase of this property, we were looking at sort of a free and clear title to make sure that there are no encumbrances on the transfer of the property. So that's just doing our due diligence to make sure that we have free and clear title, on exclusive free and clear title on the property. Does anybody have any further discussion or questions on this motion in terms of the acquisition of the Woods Harbor Ball Field by the municipality?
Question?
Question being called. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Contrary minded, nay. The motion has been carried unanimously. Go ahead, Councillor Nicholson.
Funding request for the Community Navigator Project. It is recommended to council to provide the Community Navigator Project with a 3-year funding commitment of $15,000 per year.
Do we have a mover for this motion?
So moved.
Moved by Deputy Warden Bazinet. Do we have a seconder? Seconded by Councillor McKinnon. Mr. Broughton, I just get you to say a few words about this for the sake of our viewing audience. Often people will say to me, I hear you guys making motions and I hear you seconding them and passing them, but can you give a little thumbnail sketch on what each one is? And I think it's a public courtesy that we can provide since we're live streaming now.
Certainly, thank you, Mr. Warren. So this motion relates to funding the Community Navigator Program or project for another 3-year period. So this would be the third, I guess, 3-year period that we're looking at. So we've already been a partner or participant in this project for 6 years, which is through the Yarmouth Area Chamber of Commerce. And Deputy Warden Bazinet was referring earlier to the municipal Doctor Recruitment and Retention Committee, as well as the Community Navigator Oversight Committee, and all of those, both of them doing work, towards the same goal of trying to recruit and retain doctors in our communities, as well as specialists in the Yarmouth Regional Hospital, and they do a lot of navigating work for new doctors who come to our area. So it could be from everything from housing to education, daycare services to employment. You name it, they really guide them properly to hopefully help them kind of establish here when they come to practice. So we have been, as I mentioned, partners or participants in this for the last 6 years, and this motion would extend it for another 3 years. And the municipality of Yarmouth, the town of Yarmouth, and the municipality of Argyll are also members of this, in addition to the Yarmouth Hospital Foundation and the Yarmouth Area Chamber of Commerce. So there's multiple partners. There's there's a substantial amount of provincial funding that goes into this as well through kind of core funding, but also special projects. So that's sort of in a nutshell what the program project is and what our involvement and contribution is to it.
Bringing healthcare professionals to enhance our healthcare services delivery.
Yeah, it was originally created because there was a major shortage of specialists at the Yarmouth Regional Hospital. If you think of anesthesiologists, I think there was a risk of losing all of them at one point, or pediatricians. So that was the initial urgent, crucial reason why the group was put together. But then since then, it's improved quite a bit. Focus is still on that, but also just around general, family doctors and other health related services have kind of folded into their work, and this funding goes to helping them do those initiatives and projects.
Thank you for that thumbnail sketch. Any further discussion or questions on the motion?
Question?
All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Contrary minded, nay. The motion has been carried unanimously.
Grants to organization. Forest Ridge Academy Home School. It is recommended council provide Forest Ridge Academy Home School with a grant of $500. I so move.
Moved by Councillor Nicholson. Do we have a seconder for this motion to grant money to a home and school association, Forest Ridge? Seconded by Deputy Warden Bazinet. This one's self-explanatory. Any further discussion on the motion? Questions being called. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Contrary minded, nay. Our motion has been carried unanimously, and that ends the reports from our Committee of the Whole meeting at the first Tuesday in December. Thank you, Councillor Nicholson, for reading those resolutions. Do we have any new or other business? There's nothing on the agenda that we've approved, so we'll go on to number 8, which is correspondence. We have a letter to Municipal Affairs from the, I never am sure how to pronounce. How do I pronounce this, Amy? Yeah, First Nation. So this is basically on the agenda for our information. And Sabagane? Yeah, yeah. So there's also a letter from a word that's much easier for me to pronounce, John A. McDonald, the Minister of Municipal Affairs, and attached to our agenda. Does anybody have any questions or comments about this correspondence that needs to be brought forward at this time? Councillor El Jacko.
We met with the minister last month, and he brought this information to us. The CEO and the deputy warden asked the questions about it, and we never got straight answer up to now. Is that correct, Sabrina?
Correct.
So I don't know how we can ask nicely to get some clarity on so that we can understand. Even when I have sent a letter, I think give direction to our CEO to communicate with the minister office and staff to get clarity so that way we understand exactly what you mean by this. So that way, because we asked all the questions that we could and we couldn't get the result that we want or we had to understand as the. And so I would like to see keep the pay for our CEO to communicate with the office of the minister and get some clarity on this breakdown uh, revenue and all that stuff for our municipality. That's what I would like to see. Well, whatever wishes of this council, I will support.
So a funding, you're looking for a breakdown on funding clarity, right? Okay.
Well,
And Deputy Warden Bazinet.
it's not, well, it's also, I suppose, the funding clarity that's raised, issues that are raised in the first letter, but getting back to Minister McDonald's letter with the attachment of the funding, theoretical funding for each municipality. So that is what we were not clear on. And if there are discrepancies clearly here that need to be addressed, I'd like as well to know what is going on.
Okay. So would you like to make a motion or would you like direction? I can ask our CAO. Either is good.
Either or.
Okay. Are there any objections to the request that has been raised by Councillor Aljeklin and Deputy Warden Bazinet to direct staff to write a letter asking for clarity on the breakdown of
Are we talking 8.2?
that's correct.
Yes.
Okay, yeah, that's fine.
No objections? Do you understand the direction, Mr. Broughton?
Yeah, if I understand correctly, I mean, and it's the last paragraph that sort of for me creates a little confusion, and it's the sentence that says that need and outcomes always drive the process, but this data reminds us that the needs across the province truly are different, and there is often a different sense of urgency. And I can't make the connection between what revenue per capita means in terms of determining the differing sense of urgency. So if I understand you all correctly, that would be kind of this train of questioning is what about revenue per capita and how does it relate to the sense of urgency and how they may make decisions based on funding requests?
I think that's the, go ahead.
I would like a response to the somebody say it for me.
Sabanagi?
Minister McDonald's response. Are those numbers? I would like clarification of his numbers on this addendum, whether or not they're accurate.
Oh, okay. Yep.
That's what I'm trying to get at, because clearly they assert they're not. So some explanation as to whether or not, or some defense of the data that's included here is be helpful.
Clarification of the discrepancy is what you're asking for
Yes,
between the
yes,
two letters.
thank you.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
So does anybody, Mr. Front, you have the clarity that you need in order to
Yeah,
follow
I
through
think
on
so,
council's wishes. So does anybody have any other further comments or questions about the letter and what's being asked? And the final question I'll ask is, does anybody have any objections around the table to the direction that's been given to staff? Because this is a decision that we're making by unanimous consent.
And
No,
again, it's to 8.2. To clarify the minister's letter, that's in response to other municipal units and to the corresponding total revenue per capita.
any objections to the direction that's been given to staff? Okay, by unanimous consent, staff has been directed to respond to the letter from John A. McDonald, Minister of Municipal Affairs, and to ask questions about the discrepancy between the information that's been provided and contested as well by others. Any other business?
Just to that, can we CC that to our MLA too?
Yeah.
Or can we make sure that our MLA understands it?
Okay,
So
so
we have a question on
I
that,
could
right?
provide-
You, because I think he could be instrumental in, he could be,
Yep.
help clarify the
I
situation.
mean, you could always direct the questions to him.
Well, you
first,
do it how you
because,
feel you
yeah,
wanna do
usually
it.
I just reach out to the deputy minister, or associate deputy minister.
So we're responding to this letter. So does anybody have any objections that we CC this to our MLA, Nolan Young?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's basically,
Any-
so he know
any-
what's going on
right,
if we need his support or whatever.
So are any objections? I'm just trying to secure unanimous consent. No objections to the letter or with the suggestions that have been raised for inclusion in the correspondence. Good. We are at number 9 on the agenda, and that says adjournment. So I would like to thank those who have been tuning in from home by live stream. And I'd like to take this opportunity on behalf of council to wish everybody in our community happy holidays. However you celebrate, we hope you have a meaningful celebration of the season. And so, yeah, at this time, I will pronounce our meeting adjourned. Oh,
I wake up way too early.
Are you?